यमुनतीरावनचारी नतीराजनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमाद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमाद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मथुरा धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र धाम की श्री गंगा माई यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की गौ प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti
rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti.
Mataji's
rājyasya
bhūmer vittasya
striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya vā hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti.
Word to word meanings. Rājyasya of kingdom, bhūmeḥ of land, vittasya of wealth, striyaḥ of a woman, mānasya of honor, tejasaḥ of power, māninaḥ those who are proud, anyasya of something else, vā or, hetoḥ for the reason, śrī in their opulence, mada by their intoxication, andhāḥ blinded, kṣipanti they commit insult, he indeed. Translation. Again Balarāma addressed Kṛṣṇa. Blinded by conceit with their personal opulences, proud men offend others for the sake of such things as kingdom, land, wealth, women, honor and power. Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa was originally meant to marry Rukmiṇī. All along this was the best arrangement for all concerned. And yet, from the beginning, Rukmī had maliciously opposed this beautiful arrangement. When his sister's desire was finally fulfilled and she was taken by Kṛṣṇa, he viciously attacked the Lord with vulgar insults and mortal weapons. In return, Lord Kṛṣṇa tied him up and partially clipped his hair and mustache. While certainly humiliating for a puffed up prince like Rukmī, his punishment was a mere slap on the wrist, considering what he had done.
Get tight. Tight, tight, tight. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lodita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Rājyasya bhūmer vittasya striyo mānasya tejasaḥ mānino nyasya hetoḥ śrī-madāndhāḥ kṣipanti. With the permission of all sannyasis, senior devotees, less senior devotees, let us try to say something on Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord Balarāma is saying that this is the nature of those who are puffed up. Māninaḥ, those who are proud, and śrī-madāndhāḥ, blinded by intoxication of Śrī, wealth, or beauty if they have beauty. In the second canto, dhanadhurmadandhan. Why should the vairagis flatter those who are too intoxicated by dhana, by wealth? There's enough of everything. The rivers are supplying water, trees are supplying bark to wear, and fruits and nuts to eat. The earth is providing a place to sleep. So why should the sannyasis go around flattering rich men to get something for their own sense gratification or even maintenance? Dhanardurmadandhan, those who are puffed up. So here, śrī-madāndhāḥ, same thing, puffed up, intoxicated. This is the nature of power and wealth. One becomes carried away, one forgets who he is, one becomes Superman out of the Maya illusion. And then what are they after? Not satyam param dhimahi, they're not meditating on the absolute truth. Their business is rājyasya bhūmer, vittasya, striyo. They want kingdoms, fiefdoms, they want turf, especially kingdoms. It may be, anyway, kingdoms. And bhūmer, land. Yes, that's turf also. They want land, they want governmental power, kingdom. And vitta, they want money, and more money, and still more money. And striyaḥ, they want women for sex life. Not one, not two, as many as possible. Your big politicians, your big rock stars, your big actors, jumping from one woman to the next woman to the next woman. Sometimes, or they legitimately marry, they make a street collection, so many wives. The expression is their trophy wife. I'm gorgeous, beautiful, this, that. Tejasaḥ. So they want power, they want wealth, they want women, they want territory, they want kingdoms. Hetoḥ. This is their motivation. And consequently, out of blindness, kṣipanti he means emphasis. Kṣipanti means they hurl insults. Kṣip can mean different things. It can mean to wound. Starts with throwing, then wounding, throwing javelins at people, and insulting. In Shastra it's said, we were reading the other day, that more deep than weapons is the pain caused by insulting words. They go right to the marma. Marma means the vulnerable spots. Those who are into martial arts and so on, marma. The vital spots in the body where even a little press will cause a response. So if you shoot an arrow into the marma, it's exceedingly painful. But worse is the pain caused by insulting words. This incident of kidnapping of Rukmiṇī and arrest of Rukmī was played as a drama in New York City, in Brooklyn. And Prabhupada was in attendance. Maybe some of you have seen a picture of Srila Prabhupada sitting on a white rocking chair with a pink cushion and applauding. So he's attending that drama. And which he said was better than the book. So in that drama, when Rukmī is arrested by Kṛṣṇa and disfigured, Prabhupada said, "Oh, worse than death." Sambhavitasya ca kirtir maranad atirichyate. For a respectable person, for one who's been honored, dishonor is worse than death. Worse than death. So here, Rukmī is being dishonored, insulted. Of course, he also insulted Kṛṣṇa before attempting this project of trying to win back Rukmiṇī and defeat Krishna. And in Kshatriyas, we hear this again and again in Bhagavatam, the Kshatriyas are insulting one another. So he insulted Krishna, but now he's exceedingly insulted. Disfigured, his hair clipped this way, that way, mustache. So this is painful to be so insulted, and especially for a proud man. Humble man can be insulted, and so what? But a proud man or a respectable person, respected in society, when he's insulted, he feels it so strongly. But anyone, even a humble person, will feel some pain by being insulted, unless he's very advanced. If he's very advanced, then he feels sorry for the person who gave the insult. This poor fellow. But generally, the ordinary person, to say nothing of a leading person, heroic person, feels so much pain from insult. Vittasya, cha akirti. Akirti means to be defamed, defamation. Sambhavita means a person who's honored, a person who's respected. Sambhavitasya cha akirti. Madanad atirichite. It's worse than death. A self-respecting person would rather die than be, what's the word, humiliated. That argument was given to Krishna, that payad ranadu padatam mangshante tvam maharata. Then bahumato tesham tvam bahumato. Yes, Laghavam. The great generals, the Maharatis, who've held you in such high esteem, will laugh at you. Laghava. They'll consider you, laghu means a lightweight. Prabhupada in his original dictation said, in his original typing, they will consider you as fig. Fig means insignificant. You're such a hero, you're the greatest warrior, you defeated all that in the battle in Virat, you defeated all these great heroes. Now if you run away from the battlefield, they'll consider you no better than a fig. And what could be more painful for you than that? To die would be better. So that this argument is being given. Krishna is very, what's the word, humorous and pleasing to see Balarāma going back and forth, sometimes criticizing Rukmiṇī, sometimes criticizing Krishna. He's the older brother, he's entitled to criticize Krishna. He can also criticize Rukmiṇī. So he's upbraiding them. But we should be very careful. Insults are not esteemed among saintly persons. among low-class persons, especially there's some statement in 11th canto that in Kali Yuga, a person is considered great if he's expert in insulting others. Everybody will go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone who's expert in putting others down, insulting others, yeah, yeah, yeah. Put it in their eye and so on. And everyone will think that's great. But saintly person, this is the business of those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Bhagavad Gita, Yasho, nice kritiko lashaha, nice kritika, critic is included in the word. Those who are in the mode of ignorance are lazy, intoxicated, expert in insulting others. In the list of the 26 qualities of a devotee, when it's said that a devotee is expert, it doesn't mean expert in insulting others, and especially not expert in insulting other devotees. Our Vaishnava culture means how much respect we should give to every devotee. Jai Vajay Shevara, Abhaktahin Char. Anyone who's engaged in the service of Krishna is wonderful, is great. Who's a devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who's chanted the holy name of the Lord even once, he's better than everybody else in the world. He's better than everybody else. So we should learn to appreciate the good qualities of the Vaishnavas, celebrate the good qualities of the Vaishnavas, and try like anything to avoid Vaishnava aparadhs. Vaishnava aparadhs can spoil everything. Our whole spiritual progress, all that effort, all that chanting, all of that discipline, all those rising early in the morning, everything that we've done can all be ruined by Vaishnava aparadhs. We should be careful. On the one side, careful, and on the other side, if we're always glorifying the Vaishnavas, then we don't have that problem. If you're always filling the glass, you don't have to worry about the glass being empty. So if we're always glorifying the Vaishnavas, that's our safest position. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Panchagoda Prabhu. No.
Sound there? So Srila Prabhupada was walking around the temple here in Vrindavan. They said he was in a thunderous mood. Mm-hmm. Why don't you do something practical? So how do we know when we're going over the top as far as glorification and, eulogizing the Vaishnavas, or anything that when Arjuna was thinking about fighting, he thought, I'm going to be offending everybody. And so he thought this not a very good idea to do this, but Krishna convinced him otherwise. So there's seemed like a fine division between materially insulting somebody and or appreciating them on a spiritual level.
How do we know when we're going over the top in glorifying devotees? There's a verse in Bhagavatam where it's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's quoted, that one shouldn't glorify anyone or criticize anyone. But then in the purport it said, well, if you're going to do one or the other, then glorify. Then glorify. When is glorification too much? First of all, it's too much when we're glorifying ourselves. And glorification should be sincere and factual. The Prithu Maharaj protested when the professional reciters were glorifying him for things he hadn't yet accomplished, he said, hold on, I haven't done those things. So if you glorify me for things I haven't done, it's like an insult. Like if you, somebody who's not well educated, if you say, you're such a scholar, or you're such a learned person, that's like an insult. Or a person who has no money in his pocket, you say, you're such a great businessman. So that kind of glorification is, as you say, over the top. But the glorification should be, we should genuinely try to see the good qualities of the devotees and magnify those qualities. Magnify, of course, means make greater. But it's all right. It's all right if we over-appreciate the devotees. But we should try to be sincere, try to glorify them for their actual accomplishments. That's good for us. Then we have to think, well, what is it that's good about this person? Not just that we meet, oh, another great Vaishnava, oh, another Paramahansa. That's generic. Everybody's a Paramahansa, everybody's a Vaishnava. But what is it about Panchagoda Prabhu that are his
irritating everyone?
Yeah, that's no. But just that we were hearing the other day about your accomplishments and capability in serving as the president of this important temple, and everyone appreciated it because they saw that's true. It's a short class. We don't have time. They saw that this is in terms of his practical accomplishment. If I say about Gopaswami, he's translated so much of Srila Prabhupada's words into French, then nobody can say, no, he didn't do that. No, he did. If I say about Prithu, how he makes devotees, how he goes to a festival and comes back with 5 or 7 men, nobody could say you're just making it up. So when we glorify devotees, when we think about their qualities, what they've actually done, then the glorification has value for us, purifying for us to remember, and purifying for others to hear. So, genuine, sincere, factual. That was mentioned I think in first canto, where the reciters are glorifying, again, connected with the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, I think, that it's mentioned that their glorification was factual, fact-based glorification. That's part of, so that should be there. Thank you. Something else? Yes?
Microphone here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, in the second chapter, as you mentioned, Krishna is telling Arjuna that people will call him coward. But Arjun was not in that state of mind. He was too much overwhelmed with the compassion. And so he really didn't seem to care what people will call him. But still Krishna is telling him that people might call him a coward.
No.
So what was the real reason for that?
Krishna is speaking from all sides. Why is Krishna speaking about what people will call you? Arjuna is feeling compassion. Arjuna is considering his duty, and Krishna is appealing to his sense of dignity and saying, what about what people are going to call you names? Don't you care about that? So why is Krishna doing that? From one angle of vision, Krishna wants him to fight. So every argument, when we want somebody to do something, it'll be good for your reputation. It'll make you feel good. Your mom will be happy. Whatever argument will get the job done. we're ready for that. Argue from all sides. From another point of view, this is what I was looking for. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in terms of his prescribed duty. Your prescribed duty is to fight, and if you give up fighting, then you're degraded, you'll be degraded, and everybody will know it. Everybody will speak about it. Yes. So Krishna's speaking that way. He wants to invoke Arjuna's sense of duty, that Kshatriya is dutiful. A Kshatriya is yudhe chapya palayanam. He never chickens out, as they say. He never retreats from a fight, never refuses to fight. So Krishna is inciting him. So both from the spiritual point of view, nobody's going to be killed, there's no harm, your grandfather's going to get a new body, everything's going to be fine. So spiritually, but even if you look at it materially, just like in the discussion that the soul is eternal, you can't kill anyone. But then he says, even if you think that the soul is just a epiphenomenon of matter, that it's just atoms bouncing around, then why not kill? What's the problem? So Krishna's arguing it this way and that way, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could argue something in such a way that it was so well established that no one could defeat his proposition. And then he could defeat the proposition in such a way that no one could rehabilitate it. So that's expertise in argument. And Krishna's arguing in that way. Materially, spiritually, 360 degrees, from every side, you should fight. Prithu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, interesting that you brought this up, this particular scene when Prabhupada came in here in this room and somebody said, I met your grace by providence, etc. It was said at that time by that devotee, praising Prabhupada with a verse from the Bhagavatam, that I've met your grace, etc. And Prabhupada rejected it. He said, do something practical. On the other side, to see the similarity and the difference, when Prabhupada came the last time to London, he was so emaciated that he couldn't walk. He had to be carried. And so he sat on the Vyasasana, was put on the Vyasasana, and Tamar Krishna Goswami spoke eloquently for 10 minutes about the glories of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was very moved. He didn't object. He wouldn't say, do something practical, because it was right on. Every single thing described Prabhupada's greatness in a very wonderful way. So that's the difference between the two praises. Words are cheap, but this was based on, on Prabhupada's actual life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prithu Prabhu. And another point too, it has to do with relationship. Prabhupada had a very special, relishable relationship with Vishal Prabhu. Vishal was a wonderful person in his character, and Prabhupada always reciprocated with him in an appropriate way, and so it was it's relishable. Like Krishna, he reciprocates with different friends in different ways. With some he's soft, with some he's joking, with some, and the friends are with Krishna that way. So Prabhupada with his disciples also, he could be, everything's contextual. Shruti Kirti talks about that too, how Prabhupada wouldn't smash him because he knew that Shruti couldn't take it. And others, he'd blast them. Pummel them, yes. Someone else. There's a hand there next. Okay, then it can come back to you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for this class. But in the purport of this verse 2.34, Mayad Richardam Manyate Sambhavita Cha Kirtir, Prabhupada writes that this is the final judgment Krishna is giving. So whereas Krishna speaks further so many things on the same subject, so where Prabhupada writes this is a final judgment. So can you please explain further on this, Maharaj?
Yeah, Prabhupada uses these absolute terms sometimes. Final, and then there's more. So, or he'll say, yeah, in so many ways he uses absolutes. Your service is the best. Your service is the best. So we're not worried about it. Besides, if I'd cut out final, they would have killed me. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Does Rukmī realize in the end that he is part of Krishna?
Does he realize?
Does Rukmī realize that he is part of Krishna Lila? And if so, by what process does he realize
Does Rukmī realize that he's part of Krishna? Krishna's Lila.
Krishna Lila.
Okay. There's no indication that he realizes that. The text doesn't indicate it. And also Yogamaya acts in such a way that one forgets that this is all a drama, that this is all Leela, that this is... Even Krishna forgets. He forgets, I'm all powerful, I can knock out this serpent, 1, 2, 3. My friends have walked into the mouth of the serpent. Oh, what am I going to do? Even Krishna comes under the influence of Yogamaya and he forgets that this is a pastime, this is all the working of my energy, there's no difficulty here, I'm the Supreme Personality of God. What am I going to do? So this is how Yogamaya acts, even on Krishna and certainly on the devotees. Sometimes we read that the associates, that even the demons who come, they're all Krishna's devotees, they're connected with Krishna in some way. But whether they're constitutionally just inimical, or even when they're devotees, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, when they were opposing Krishna, they weren't thinking this is just Leela. He's killed my brother, I'm going to destroy him. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, Shrutakirti Prabhu.
We're going backwards, I guess. The time, place, and circumstance factors for glorification. When Paramahamsa Swami became Prabhupada's secretary, as anyone, when you joined Prabhupada, you were in ecstasy. And so Prabhupada would ring the bell, he'd say, call Paramahamsa. So 3 times Paramahamsa came in on different occasions. So every time he would do dandavats in front of Prabhupada's desk, as Prabhupada's sitting there. And besides obeisances, Om Agyana Tirmanada, he's going on and on and on. So after the 3rd time, Prabhupada said, get up. How are we going to get anything done, you lying on the floor? So you have to understand the situation. Like when he said, when he was giving that lecture in the college, and the next day he said, don't put the vyasasa there, just put a chair there. Because we do that, that's a glorification as well. But if it's going to make a problem with everything, then better not do it. His language also, Prabhupada, like you said, he would say something was most important. But that didn't mean anything else was less important. Everything was most important. He had a way of emphasizing things. So you really had to understand, how he talked, how he walked, why he said things.
It's understanding Prabhupada's language. One time, very early, just after I was initiated, and a few days later, there was a book, and I was assisting Prabhupada in his house. I was assisting with the cooking. And Satsvarup Maharaj gave me a book from India and wanted me to ask Prabhupada if it was okay to read it for the devotees, to read it. It was a small little pamphlet. So I gave it to Prabhupada, showed it to him, and said, can we read it? Prabhupada said, it is not required. So I'm coming from the culture where there are two kinds of courses, the ones that are required and the ones that are optional. So now I understood that the book wasn't required, but the question hadn't been answered. Can we read it? Prabhupada said, it is not required. By the third time around, I understood that it's not required means no.
That was also a way he would speak, so you would avoid offending him. Because then if you did read it, if he said it's not required and you read it, you don't make an offense. But if he just says no, but your curiosity makes you read it, then that's offensive.
That's also
So
true.
he would say things in such a way to minimize our ability to make mistakes, make offenses.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much Maharaj for Hare Krishna. Grateful to you Maharaj for telling that how the glorification should be sincere and factual. So my question is Maharaj, there is a respecting which is told by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Dehonatha, no? Sakala Sanmana Korite Shakati, Dehonatha Yathayatha. And what I heard, the translation of it is like, respecting as it behooves.
Yes.
So the glorification is something which is in public and so on. So can you help me how I understand and go closer to respecting how it behooves? What does it mean going beyond and not like?
Respecting as it behooves means that there's a proper way to respect everyone according to who they are, according to what our relationship is with them, according to the, as you said, public, private circumstances. So, as it behooves means in a fitting manner. When Krishna was entering Dwarka, the various Dwarkavasis were all receiving him, and Krishna was reciprocating differently according to who they were. It's mentioned that some he was smiling at, some he would just give a nod. When it came to Yudhisthira and the Pandavas, he was embracing them. So not the same for everyone. We're like, we go out, it's not that we embrace the rickshaw balls, oh, you're such a great Vaishnava, that's not as it behooves. We respect the rickshawala, we understand that he's part and parcel of Krishna, he's driving a rickshaw in Krishna's holy abode, what great fortune he has. We spend so much money and we can come for a week and he's living here. So we appreciate it, but not that we throw ourselves at his feet and beg for his mercy and so on. That's mentioned also in Upadeshamrita. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta diksheti yas pranitipis shabajantamisham shrushrushaya bhajana vigyam ananya manya nindari shunya ridamipsita sangalabdva. Anyone who's chanting Hare Krishna, at least in our mind we respect him. He may be a dacoit, he may be a nonsense rascal, he may be so many things, but he's chanting Hare Krishna. So in our minds we respect him. Krishneti yasya giritam manasa adriyeta. We honor him at least in our minds. And then if he's taken initiation and he's taken up the path of practice, then we offer him our pranams. Diksheti has pranitibhis, we bow down to him. And if someone is very expert in devotional service and his heart is so pure that he doesn't even think about criticizing others, to say nothing of other bad propensities. Well, then we just want his association. We want to throw ourselves at his feet. So it's different, according to the person, according to who we are. Our kids may be Vaishnavas, but we don't throw ourselves at their feet. Please accept my humble obeisances. Please give me your mercy. That's not as it behooves. One has to know there's an etiquette. Who's senior, who's junior, who's on an equal level, who's advanced. One may be senior just by advancement, even though he's junior by age. Prahlad Maharaj, he was advanced, so he was senior. Shukadeva Goswami, he was 19. And all the elderly sages, including Vyasadeva, his father, they were all getting up to honor him because he was so advanced in Krishna consciousness. Uddhava's sending Vidura to Maitreya because he's senior. So he's showing respect to Maitreya. So in this way, there's an art to knowing how to respect everyone properly. How to respect everyone properly. Down to the lowest person. Everyone should be respected. We may not, just like Prabhupada was saying, that if we ask people how are you doing, it will differ according to the person. If he's a Vaishya, we say, how's your business going? If he's a sadhu, how's your bhajan? Not that we ask the sadhu, how's your business? So just as it behooves, there's this is refinement, cultural refinement, to see the good in everyone, to respect everyone, and to know how to honor everyone fittingly, appropriately. Is that okay? Okay, we have a few more minutes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, so you were talking about how a humble man will... You were talking about how a humble person may feel...
How, a little louder,
A
please.
humble person...
A humble person.
Humble person will feel sorry for the person who's performing
Will
the
feel
insult.
sorry for...
The person who's performing the insult.
Just one. Yeah, an advanced person feels sorry for the person insulting him.
Could you elaborate on what that really means?
What does that mean? First, he sees this person is diseased. He's infected by the lower modes of nature. So he must be suffering. Otherwise, just like a doctor, Prabhupada gave the example, the doctor is, the crazy patient is insulting the doctor because the doctor is trying to treat. So the doctor understands. He's delirious. The doctor doesn't take offense. I'm trying to help this guy. What's wrong with him? No, he sees the patient is delirious. So still he remains steady. Let me help this patient. That's one answer. Another answer, it's said by Bhishmadev, I believe. I don't have the reference for you, but I believe it's Mahabharata, that when we insult that person, we insult a person and he doesn't protest, all of the sinful reactions come upon the accuser. So it's not that, well, all right, then I'm not going to say anything because I want to stick it on him. But he knows that Krishna deals very strongly with critics, and especially with those who are criticizing devotees or criticizing devotional service. So he feels sorry. Sho chayatato vimukha chayatasya. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, there was few points about...
If you hold it closer, please.
There were few points about being practical. Also a very important point of our philosophy is depending on Krishna. Sometimes I observe some devotees...
If you keep it close.
In the name of depending on Krishna, maybe not do their homework properly and space out and end up taking service from Krishna. So how do we balance?
We're supposed to depend on Krishna, but in the name of Krishna, devotees don't do their homework, they space out. So, depending on Krishna doesn't mean I do nothing. Depending on Krishna means I perform my prescribed duty, and then I depend on Krishna for the result. And the result will be whatever Krishna desires it to be. I perform my duty, not that I don't perform my duty. That's nonsense. I do nothing and then depend on Krishna for the result. The result will be that you'll get the result that a fool deserves. So we should perform our duty, then depend on Krishna for the result. Is that okay? And that was the bell, wasn't it? All right, shall we stop here? Oh, I should plug my books. That's my other duty. They made this big display here, embarrassingly. Anyway, we have a new book, Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards. It's full of instructions from Srila Prabhupada about how to perform kirtan. And I felt there was a need to write it, and so I've collected these instructions here. Sachinandan Maharaj, His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj gave an endorsement. I brought it to him at a festival we were both attending, just to check with him if it was still okay to put it on the back cover. And he said yes. In his endorsement he says it's necessary, wonderful book, and so on. And then I asked him, is it okay? He said yes. He said it's the beginning of a discussion. In other words, I don't claim that the book is the final word, that everything you need to know is here, but it's the beginning of a discussion that needs to take place. Because so many of Prabhupada's instructions have been lost, forgotten, set aside, never known, because we joined long after the discussion. The instructions were forgotten. They were forgotten 30 years ago. We joined 20 years ago, so we never heard about it. So at the end it says, for anyone who cares about Srila Prabhupada's standards for kirtan, this is an essential book. The book is here in Vrindavan right now. There's on special sale today. The price is whatever you want to give. And thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.